Hi, I'm Scott Riesebosch, President of Tailwind. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install the IQ3 2.1 Smart Garage Door Controller. Before you start installing, hold your mobile phone up near the location where you plan to mount the Tailwind controller and check the Wi-Fi signal strength. If you only have 1 or 2 bars, you may need a Wi-Fi extender. The IQ3 2.1 comes with a user guide, 2 pieces of wire, the controller, a mounting bracket, some mounting hardware, and the power supply and cable. This is the input side of the controller. You can see that because it says it's from the wall station and external sensors. This is the output side of the controller, as indicated by the text, 2 GDOs, which means 2 garage door openers, or to the gate controller. Unplug the power from your garage door opener. The IQ3 second generation controllers come in 3 variants, with no door sensor included, a J-track door sensor included, or a universal door sensor included. You may be asking yourself, no door sensor, how does that work? The Tailwind controllers, second generation, with some garage door controllers, they're able to digitally get the door information directly from the garage door opener, and therefore they don't need a door sensor. Click on one of the many links on our website taking you to the SmartFit guide. Look up your garage door brand and model. There you'll be able to determine the control method, whether it's digital, dry contact, or 3-button dry contact. You'll be able to see which versions of the IQ3 system are compatible and whether or not you need a door sensor. You'll be able to see in the case of the 2.1 whether or not you can add additional door kits to it. Note that the IQ3 2.0 is not compatible with additional door kits as it is a 1-door controller. You'll see any additional notes for your particular model. And most importantly, you'll see a wiring diagram showing you where to connect the Tailwind control wires to your opener and whether those should be the digital wires or the dry contact control wires or the 3-button dry contact control wires. If the SmartFit guide indicates that you don't need a door sensor for your opener, you can skip the entire sections of this video that talk about mounting door sensors. The J-track sensor is designed for standard sectional garage doors that run on standard 2-inch J-track. Here's a close-up of what standard garage door J-track looks like. It gets its name because the profile looks like the letter J. The universal door sensor is pretty much for everything else. So if you've got a roll-up door or a gate that needs a sensor and it's not a standard sectional door with J-track, the universal sensor is what the name implies, universal. You can use it for everything. If you ordered the IQ3 for standard sectional garage doors that run on J-track, you need to check the door to see if there's any part that's mounted to the door that rides up along the J-track that would collide with the sensor mounted to the track. If there's something attached to the door that does that, you need the universal sensor and not the J-track mounted sensor. So now install the J-track sensor to the J-track. And squeeze it together by hand as tight as it'll go. Finish securing the sensor in place by tightening the set bolt with an 8mm socket. Now we need to mount the magnet to the door so that it's directly across from the sensor with the door in the closed position. And we give you 2 options for mounting the magnet. We give you a 3M adhesive strip as well as a pair of self-tapping screws. Either way, we'll let you mount the magnet to the door. Please remember that if you're going to use the double-sided adhesive, be sure to clean the surface first with the alcohol swab and make sure it's dry before you stick it. Also, you'll notice there's 2 sets of mounting holes on the magnet, and that's so that you have a couple of options on how to position it on the door. So what we want to do is make sure that it's directly across from the sensor and the gap is less than 2 inches. If you ordered the IQ3 with the universal sensor, it can fit really on any door or gate. So I'm going to show you how we're going to install it above the door, and then I'll show you again how to install it at the bottom of the door. So we simply put the sensor above the door, but at a distance high enough so that when the door rolls up, it's not going to collide with the sensor. So go ahead and mount that with the included screws now. Now that the sensor is mounted above the door, we need to again mount the magnet to the door so that the sensor will detect the magnet when the door is closed. And we've included this oversized magnet as well as a 90-degree bracket for mounting it, but you don't actually have to use the bracket. It's just there in case it makes your installation easier. You can also just attach the magnet directly to the top of the door. But for this installation, it lines up quite nicely. We want to make sure that horizontally we're aligned to the sensor, and we don't actually have to get it perfect vertically. We just want to make sure that the magnet is within 2 inches of the sensor when the door is closed. So I'm going to go ahead and just use some of the included 3M self-adhesive strips to put on here, and we'll be all set. As usual, when we're using any self-adhesive strips, we have to make sure that we've cleaned the surface carefully with the swab, the alcohol swab, and make sure it's completely dry so that our adhesive strips stick. And we'll position the magnet just like that. There we are. And we can see it's aligned horizontally and within 2 inches of the sensor. The universal sensor can also be attached directly to the concrete floor, and it's perfect for if you have one of those roll-up doors or if you're not comfortable installing it above the door. So we position the sensor so that when the magnet's on the door, it will be directly over the sensor. So I'll go ahead and mark the holes. I'll use the included drill bit that came with the sensor to drill the holes for it to mount to the floor. Before installing the sensor, you should vacuum out the dust out of the holes. Now that the sensor is permanently mounted to the floor, we're going to go ahead and mount the magnet to the door directly above it using either double-sided adhesive tape or screws. As usual, if we're going to use double-sided adhesive, we want to make sure that this surface is clean and dry before we apply it. So I align it so that the magnet is within 2 inches of the sensor when the door is in the closed position, and it's aligned horizontally. If you ordered a kit that included either of the door sensors, it also came with 10 meters or about 32 feet of white and black wire. Use the included B connectors to connect them to the wires coming from the door sensor. Trim the wires if needed so that no exposed copper is visible once the wires are fully inserted into the B connector. Use a pair of pliers and squeeze tight on the B connector to secure the connection. Note that the B connectors are filled with silicone to help create a weatherproof and sealed connection once completed. Repeat the process for both wires coming from the door sensor. Use the included wire clips and zip ties to neatly run the wire back to where you're going to mount your Tailwind controller, which is typically on the garage door opener. In digital mode, the IQ3 2.1 can control one digital opener. Remove the wires from the 2 terminals that were identified in the SmartFit guide. Note that the 2 wires that are there are most likely polarity sensitive, so make sure you note which wire came from which terminal. If you don't have any wires there, just move on to the next step. In this example, we're using a LiftMaster opener with a yellow Learn button. The SmartFit guide indicated that this was a digital opener. So we're going to go ahead and connect the two wires that were previously connected directly to the garage door opener itself to the digital input connectors, making sure that we keep the polarity the same. If your installation is using a door sensor, connect your door sensor wires here. Since we connected the wires that came from our wall control to the digital input on this controller, we are going to use the included white and red wire to connect to the digital output side on the controller. Connect the other end of the red and white wires to the two terminals on the garage door opener where you removed the original wires from. Make sure to keep the polarity of the wires the same. If the SmartFit guide indicated that your opener uses dry contact, you can control up to 3 dry contact garage door openers with a single IQ3 2.1. You'll need to order the IQ3 2.1 with a door sensor kit, and you'll need to order an additional door kit for each additional door you want to connect to it. Connect up to 3 door sensors to the highlighted terminals on the input side. Connect the white and black wire coming from the door 1 sensor you installed in the earlier step to the 2 terminals on the input side marked common and door 1 sensor. Connect up to 3 dry contact garage door openers to the highlighted terminals on the output side. Connect the included red and white wire to the 2 green terminals on the output side marked GDO1 dry contact. Remember, for dry contact controls, these are not polarity sensitive terminals. If your dry contact garage door opener has a wired wall control, there will be a couple of wires inserted into the control terminals on your opener. Carefully remove them from the terminals, taking note of which wire goes in which terminal. Many wall controls have polarity sensitive wires. Wrap the wall control wires together with the 2 Tailwind control wires that come from the GDO1 dry contact terminals and reinsert them back into the same terminals into your garage door opener. If you have an opener that has separate open, stop, and close buttons on the wall control, or it has separate open, close, stop terminals on the opener control board, you have what's known as a 3-button dry contact control. If you have a wired 3-button wall control that's connected directly to your opener, you'll want to disconnect it from your opener, taking note of which wire went to which terminal, and connect it directly to the input terminals on the IQ3 2.1 marked COM, Open, Close, and Stop. Use the included wires to connect the COM, Open, Close, and Stop terminals on the output side of the controller back over to the COM, Open, Close, and Stop terminals on your opener. If you haven't already done so, plug your garage door opener and your Tailwind controller into power. Make sure your phone is connected to the Wi-Fi network that you want to connect the Tailwind controller to. Download the Tailwind app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, launch it on your phone, and tap New User. Tap Yes. Scan the QR code on the back of your controller. Tap Next. Verify you have good Wi-Fi signal strength at the location you plan to mount your Tailwind controller and tap Next. If you haven't already done so, plug in your Tailwind power supply and tap Next. When you initially power on your Tailwind controller, it should start flashing red. Choose Red and tap Next. Press and immediately release the Config button. Do not press and hold it. Tap Next. Verify the status light is now flashing blue and tap Yes. Make sure the name of your Wi-Fi network is shown Enter the password for it and tap Connect. Give your device a name. Note that the IQ3 2.1 can be configured to control up to 3 garage door openers if they're a dry contact type. If you attempt to configure more than one door, the app will remind you that only dry contact openers can be configured if you select more than one door. On this screen, you'll also see the button to enable 3-button dry contact control. You can turn this on or off depending on the type of opener you have. Tap Next. Go out to your driveway. Give your phone about 1 minute to accurately establish your location, and then tap Learn Garage Location. Tap Done. Enter your first and last name and tap Next. Enter your email address twice and tap Next. Create a password, re-enter it, and then tap Next. Check your email for a verification code and enter it here. Give your location a name, like home or dad's house. Tap Next. Since we already covered the hardware installation steps in this video, we'll just skip past these hardware installation guide screens in the app. Before we go ahead and actually operate the door, we want to clean up the wiring and make sure that it's not going to get hung up or caught in any moving parts. Your controller will now learn what type of opener you have. Please note that this Learn tool will not be shown if you selected 3-button dry contact or you configured multiple doors, which automatically means that they're dry contact. Tap Go to Learning. Tap Start Learning. When your garage door starts to move, tap Finish within 5 seconds. Tap on your Tailwind device. We provide multiple options for mounting the Tailwind controller. You can use the included 3M self-adhesive strips. You can mount directly to drywall using included screws or use the mounting bracket. You can also use zip ties that are not included, but you can use those to mount the mounting bracket to the vertical support structure for the garage door opener and then mount the controller to that. Okay, time to see if it works. Please check out our YouTube channel, where you'll find a lot more helpful videos to help you explore all the fantastic features of the Tailwind system.